Hey everybody, I am so excited to be with you here today and to have a special guest come join me today to have a really important talk. So I'm going to have her hop on here in a minute, but as she is getting on here, I want to kind of just explain a little bit about what it is that we're going to be talking about. So I don't think it's any secret that the world that we live in is becoming increasingly more toxic. People are getting sicker and sicker than ever. People who are even committed to very healthy living seem to be coming down with illness that's unexplained. So hold on, I'm going to bring Sarah on here in just 1 second. Let's see.
Hey,
We did it! Yay!
let me stick.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey,
How are you?
hi. I'm gonna stick the thingy in here, so sorry.
Yeah, no, you look great. I love that little background of your supermom behind you.
Thanks. We're painting, so I had to sit in front of something clean for the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I totally hear you. Well, I was just telling our viewers that we're so excited to be sharing just some awesome information. And really, I want people to hear your story, Sarah, which I think is very powerful, especially given your background. I just want to make sure, okay, I just wanted to make sure that our service was okay. You were frozen there for a second.
Oh,
So I
sorry.
think we're all good. No, I think we're all good now. So I want to make sure everybody understands who this is. This is Sarah Harding, a good friend of mine. We became friends just a couple months ago. But guys, what I was talking about is the fact that we live in a world that is increasingly more toxic. And what it's doing is it's causing incredible damage to our health. And unfortunately, what we're finding is that even people who are living healthy lives, people who are committed to healthy, whole food, nutrition, organic, all of the non-GMO, even these people are experiencing incredible health challenges. And I wanted Sarah to come on here to share her story in particular because she is that person and then some. Like if you think you're living a healthy, clean, holistic life, then you don't even know anything until you hear about Sarah Harding, okay? She is I want to give her full background here, and I'm going to look at it because I don't want to miss anything. I want to read it, but she is the founder of Crunchy Supermom and the Supermom Solution, and she is a natural-minded mama all the way. And she is incredible that she is an entrepreneur and committed to this healthy lifestyle, but also she is a Marine Corps wife. Her husband's a Marine Corps officer of 10 years, and they have 3 beautiful daughters who are very young, 9 and under. And as well, she has a professional experience in a wide array of fields, having worked as a doula, a breastfeeding educator, nutrition counselor, corporate project manager, psychology instructor, and residential treatment facilitator for at-risk youth. So to say that this woman is literally doing it all is the understatement of the century. And I am so blessed and honored to have her here with me. I'm learning so much from her. But I kind of got to learn about Sarah's program with her Crunchy Supermom, which I highly encourage everybody to go check out her page, the Crunchy Supermom, because she's going to teach you so many ways to live a completely holistic life, which we are committed to as well. But what we're talking about here is when that's just not good enough. We're eating completely clean, organic, the perfect nutrition, taking out all the toxins in your home and in your environment as best you can. That is a great thing to do, but for some reason it's just not good enough. We can see it. Our health is just declining left and right, no matter what it seems to be that we're all doing. So, Sarah, please just explain a little bit about your background in more detail and try to explain to everybody what it is that you have been doing in your life. Like really explain to us the commitment that you've made to natural health and the things that you do that most people, I mean, they might think is a good idea, but they don't actually commit to do it.
Sure. Thanks for the glowing introduction, by the way. You make me sound awesome. I
No,
do.
I don't even think you sound as good as you really are. You are just
No,
something else.
no. I'm all about productivity and systems and routines. So way back when I first got pregnant, I just started making everything from scratch, one thing at a time, from sourdough bread to homemade biscuits and pizza crust, the sauerkraut, the fermented foods, all of those things. And I've even tried homemade cheese and ricotta and butter and all that good stuff. And then, skincare products. I made my own skincare and things like that, face wash and all that. So that's what we do. But I do make it a systemized approach. And part of why I started that was because I was pregnant. And I also was working with a holistic health counselor who was helping people overcome their illness with food and things like that. So I saw the
Right.
benefits there.
Right. And so, I mean, in everything that you do in your home, you take a holistic approach and you eliminate all toxins, right? Like, don't you even make your own cleaning supplies?
Right, yes. And I have, yeah, I mean, we pretty much research everything from mattresses and organic underwear, we just, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say we're like
Right.
these extremists because I believe that if you do 80-20 rule for the most part applies. If you protect yourself from 80% of the toxins, you can be exposed to them 20% of the time. Your body should take care of it. But when I
Mm-hmm.
developed a health condition, it became more of like a 90-10. Sorry, my kids are walking by the hall. They're getting loud.
It's okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, okay. So that's good. That gives everybody kind of a little bit of a background of your commitment level to holistic living and natural health. Can you just walk us through, despite all of this healthy living and lifestyle, can you explain to us what happened in your health? Do you have to run for a second?
Nope, I'm
Get
just
it?
telling my husband that they're loud.
You know what? This is what super moms do, right? You just make it
But
happen.
dad is home.
I
Yeah.
know, I know.
So anyway, yeah.
So yeah, so I'm just wondering, could you explain to people what happened a couple years ago to your health
hmm
and why, basically the journey. Take us on the journey of what happened to you, even despite your healthy living.
Yeah, sure. So it was 2014, so it's 4 years now. I had a baby at home, completely natural, probably the best birth and the third birth of all, and it was, I mean, amazing. Quick recovery, best recovery ever. But then that summer, I developed some kind of kidney stone that wouldn't go away, and that lasted for 45 days. And then when I finally got well from that, I went to bed really dizzy, and I woke up dizzier, and to the point that 2 days later I couldn't get out of bed or walk without falling and stumbling, and I was just extremely nauseated. So that's what they diagnosed as vestibular neuritis at that time. And so that particular, how sick I was that day persisted for 5 straight months with absolutely no relief. And I tried everything. I mean, narcotics, whatever they would give me, like anti-nausea meds, everything the hospital would give, and nothing impacted it whatsoever. And I had a almost 6-month-old, 5.5-month-old baby, plus the 2 kids, and we homeschooled, and my husband was traveling a lot. So, and I did everything that I could in those 5 months to try to get better. Everything.
Wow. Wow. So I forgot to mention also that on top of all of this, Sarah is a homeschooling mom as well. So goodness
That's the
gracious.
easy part.
Oh my goodness, you just do it all. But so then, okay, so that first 5 months after that pregnancy, you were just terribly sick,
hmm
and none of the drugs were helping.
Mm-mm.
So then, what did you do?
Yeah, so it got to the point where, the baby was mobile, so pushing her in the laundry basket and keeping her in the laundry basket wasn't going so well, and the kids needed to get outside more, and I didn't know a lot of people, so I didn't have a lot of help. I needed help, so I kind of just started doing research, and I tried all kinds of wild things, chiropractor, different types of things. And I finally went to this person who did some craniosacral work on my head, and he was able to get it where I could leave the house, but I was still not well. And then I had been on a waiting list for a specialist who diagnosed me with incomplete recovery from vestibular neuritis, which is the most frustrating diagnosis ever. And he's like, you're lucky you can get out of bed. And this is the best you're ever going to get. Just be happy that you can get out of bed.
Mm.
And he's like, if you get tired, just drink some more coffee, and sent me on my way. And then we moved to Louisiana. And that's literally, I just stayed like that for 2 years. Just,
Wow.
just existing in that terrible state of sickness constantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and I know you're a Marine Corps spouse, and me, myself, being a former Marine and being the spouse of a Navy helicopter pilot, I know that life has to just keep going on. In a military family,
hmm
you can't sit and have a pity party because your husband's
Mm-mm.
away. The deployment schedule never ends.
Right.
You, like you said, you're not usually around family. You're kind of around strangers that you don't know in a strange place. And then you moved to Washington, or from Washington to Louisiana, to a whole
Hmm.
new place. So
Right.
then what was kind of the turning point? What was the decision that you made? Because you're basically, I mean, not even able to fully function as a mom. And then what did you do from there?
Well, I started to get worse. And and then I pretty much just said, you know what, this is how I am going to be, so I'm going to get a positive attitude and I'm just going to stop looking for a cure. I'm going to stop trying to get better, but I'm just going to keep mitigating everything that I can. So I was even more committed to living holistically, but I'm like, I'm done trying to get better. And I just moved on. And then that's how I met you, Sam, because I was
Mm-hmm.
running my Crunchy Super Mom thing, teaching other moms how to have a good attitude and go on despite any struggle that they're dealing with. And I promised you I would do a 90-day trial of whatever crazy little natural activation thing you were talking about. And what? Yeah, that's then all of a sudden I
Well,
started getting better.
at the time, yeah, but at the time when you and I met just a couple months ago, just so everybody realizes, Sarah is somebody who investigates products. She
Yeah.
investigates wellness products, especially, you know, there's so much out there on the market. There's so many things that say they've got this and that in them, and then you find out that they don't. It's
Hmm.
hard to know. It's hard to know what's good, what's not, what's valid, what's not, what's just hype, and what's real science. And so she is not somebody who's going to sugarcoat anything. And she told
Mm-mm.
me that. She said, you know, I'm going to look into this because that's what I do.
Hmm.
And I'll give it a 90-day trial myself, thinking that she was going to basically have to write a bad review
Like
on it.
we're not going
And
to
I
be
think she
friends
became,
anymore.
yeah, she gave me a warning. She's like, we're probably not going to be friends anymore.
Oh, that was
And
funny.
so I, you know, like I feel so confident in doing is sharing education about what we know. And I shared with her the research and the education about this concept of activating your body with natural herbs and compounds. So it's basically bringing nature and science and chemistry together.
Hmm.
A lot of the pharmaceutical options out there for issues that the body are having. It is heavy chemistry, but it's synthetic.
Hmm.
And we all know that pharmaceutical drugs come with a load and a lifetime of side effects.
Right.
And so the interesting concept here, which Sarah really didn't know about until before this, was the concept of using natural herbs and compounds with very specific chemistry to actually activate our own God-given genes to allow the body to help itself. And so Sarah, can you tell us, you had an official diagnosis, I don't know if I can say it or not,
Yeah.
dysautonomia, is that
Yep.
what it was?
That's right.
And tell us about that and what you were doing to manage that before you and I met about 3 months ago.
Yeah, so when I moved here, I told you I got worse, where I had what looked like mini strokes, where I would go blind in one eye. Sorry, my people are apparently watching this and texting me about it. Um, so
Everyone wants to know
yeah,
what's
right. They're
Sarah
like, "What are you
Harding doing?"
doing? What are you talking about now?" Okay, so I went to the mailbox and I went blind in one eye and my face started to droop. And I called my husband at work and he's almost an hour away, 45 minutes. I was like, "I think you should come home. Something bad is happening to me." And then I just went completely paralyzed on the left side by the time I got to the urgent care with him. And they took me to the hospital and they're like, "Well, it looks like a stroke, so we're going to do all the stroke workup." It ended up not being a stroke, thankfully, but they said it was an ocular migraine, which is bizarre because I had no pain. But it happened again. And so when it happened again, that time when I went to the urgent care, there was something wrong with my heart. So I ended up going to a cardiologist who happened to be a dysautonomia specialist. And he happened to say, "Well, this is your classic dysautonomia. You just have a progressive condition." So anyway, I went through a sleep study because I could pass out easily. I don't have narcolepsy, but they basically treat me like a narcoleptic so that I'm safe around my kids, so I don't pass out. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything else besides taking like a medication that narcoleptics would take just to avoid passing out randomly. And that was it. And
Right.
I was getting healthy, running and doing things. I'm like, I'm going to do this anyway. And I always felt terrible, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't going to stop me.
Okay, well, so basically, you had this debilitating disease, which, correct me if I'm wrong. What is the prognosis? A couple of years from now, what were they saying was going to be
Yeah.
most likely your future.
Right. So because I kept having the heart issues that within 5 to 10 years, like my heart would just continue getting worse and the symptoms would just keep getting worse and death or a very more disabled, like a more disabled life than what I already am dealing with or was dealing with. Um,
Right.
but then again, the doctors just said, stay in bed, rest when you need to, quit everything, don't do anything extra, just go ahead and
Right.
become a couch potato now, just to avoid getting worse.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah,
And of
that was
course,
that.
yeah. And being the person that you are, obviously you're not just going to stop living your life, right? It's like, even if you only
Right.
have 5 to 10 years, you're going to live that life and serve others and homeschool your children and be the
Mm-hmm.
best spouse to your husband who's active duty Marine. And then also, above and beyond, help other women to figure out how to systematize their life, live a
Right.
holistic lifestyle, all of that. So you were pushing your body and still like willing yourself to be able to overcome these challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and you were having to take a pharmaceutical drug,
Pharmaceutical.
which
Mm-hmm.
normally would be prescribed, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
for narcolepsy, just to keep yourself from passing out, so that you could drive your kids to swim lessons and not
Mm-hmm.
be a danger to that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when I introduced this concept of NRF2 activation, the concept of using natural herbs and compounds, um, in a very specific formula that activates your own God-given genes. I know you, like we said, you had some skepticism. You thought you were gonna find do the digging and find all the
Yeah.
dirty stuff on it, but you decided to give it a 90-day trial.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? What did you notice within the first 30 days or so?
Well, I just, I didn't notice anything. I just noticed that I hadn't been falling asleep and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
taking anything to keep myself from falling asleep. And I was actually more energized. And then people started saying things about my skin. And then my husband noticed and was like, hey, did you make a new skincare? Like, is there a new lotion you're using? Can I have some? And I'm like, I'm not using anything. I don't wear like face makeup or anything. So it just went from there. And then that's when I kind of went back to you and I was like, okay, tell me some more about it. Because I'd been kind of doing research for my review, but I hadn't had any positive effects because, whenever you take something, you kind of expect to feel something. But I didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
something. I just started to get subtly better to the point that I didn't notice until I noticed. And then when I noticed, I really, really noticed. So that's kind of what happened.
And other people
Yeah.
were noticing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then I started thinking, well, if other people are noticing, it's not all in my head. But then and it was funny because I would backtrack through the last couple of weeks. I'm like, I haven't eaten anything different. I haven't slept anymore. I've actually been sleeping way, way less, doing all these things. I'm like, the only thing I've done is like take this little activator, and I'm just like, it couldn't be that, whatever. I mean, it couldn't be that. But then I started doing the research and then I started, talking with you and learning a lot more and understanding about glutathione and oxidative stress. I'm like, that is exactly what my doctors always said is people who have dysautonomia have a lot of oxidative stress because they're really resilient people, but everything that's happened to them leading up to the moment of having all those symptoms, it's built up in their body. Even though I look fine and I power through it and I do all these other things, my body is still screaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what causes a lot of health conditions. And I knew that. I already knew that before I even met you. But then when I realized about reducing inflammation and reducing oxidative stress, it all made sense to me. So that's where it was.
Right.
But then the best part, though, was I don't know, it's been what, 3 weeks since I was like, okay, I really, really need you to send me all the info, not just some of it. 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
because I woke up kind of like it looked like I was smashing my face against a window. And so things looked really clean and crystal clear and bright, but also very weird. And it wasn't until about dinner time when I was trying to measure things, because my vision prior to that day was like being on a boat. And you know what that's like, just constant, like I can't thread a needle. Well, I went to make tacos and without shaking, I was putting the seasoning in the pan and I'm like, I know what's wrong with my eyes. I can see again. And I mean, I was like so emotional because I finally realized like I can actually see, and I didn't want to tell anyone or say anything because I would probably seem crazy, like you don't know what it's like to be on a boat for 4 years and then just suddenly you don't even know what looking what seeing normally looks like anymore that you don't recognize it. So yeah,
Wow.
so I'm all in, and
Wow.
I can't stop talking about it.
Wow. Well, thank you for taking us through all of that. There's a couple of key takeaways I want to kind of touch on with that. For one, um, a lot, first of all, what we're talking about here with activation of the body and specifically with the little yellow pill is that it is not intended to treat, cure, or mitigate disease. It's not about that. It's about activating your God-given mechanisms. God set up this entire perfect body, and what's happened is over time and throughout the generations, our world has become so toxic. There's things like the food that we eat, which is completely nutrient depleted. Even if you're eating very clean and organic and whole foods, it's almost impossible to get the real nutrients that we need anymore. The genes that are being passed down from your parents and from your grandparents are getting worse and worse each generation because we have more toxic load that we can't avoid in our society. There's things like air pollution, like the EMFs from all of the electronics that we're using. I mean, right now I'm surrounded by like this force field of electronics, and I'm not going to throw away my iPhone. I'm just not going to do that, and I don't think most of you are either. So what's the solution? Well, again, God gave us very specific mechanisms inside our body, inside our genes and our DNA. And what the drug companies are doing, they're very smart. They understand this concept of genomics and the fact that you can alter genes or you can affect genes. The question is, do you want to wait until you have a life-threatening disease and wait for a prescription where a drug company can give you maybe something to alter your genes? And then the other thing is, do you really want to be forcefully and chemically altering your genes? Or do you want to use natural compounds that allow your body to know how to activate your genes the right way? So it works the way that God actually intended for your body to work. And so Sarah's story basically points out the fact that when you activate your genes in a natural way, one, there's no side effects. Two, it could be very gradual. It's working down at a cellular level, so it could be almost subtle. And unless you're very in tune with the things that you're already struggling with, you might almost take it for granted when things start getting better or until somebody else notices it on you. So I just wanted to kind of bring those things to light, that people are struggling in lots of different areas and they think that they have to pray for a cure or hope that there's some drug that's going to save them. And that's not the cure, because a drug is not going to allow you to live a better life. It's going to put some band-aids, like you, Sarah. It was all you could do to stay awake was to take those medications for your safety. But now you've been off those medications for what, almost 40 days?
Yeah, going on 50 something, yeah. Closer to
Awesome.
60
So
actually, yeah.
again, yeah. How incredible. I mean, so you've not had to take the narcolepsy medication that you've been taking, and you've been feeling great energy? You've not
Yeah.
fallen asleep? Like what have you experienced?
Yeah. Well, I've actually done a test, not this week, but last week. I did a test where I went without sleep. I slept 5 hours one night, 4, 3, 2, 1 each day. And then I would wake up and go run like 1 to 3 miles in the morning. And I was fine. Like I made it, I stayed up past the kids' bedtime. So, and that's it.
That's amazing. You're a crazy lady
Well, I told you
for
I'm,
intentionally inflicting no sleep on yourself,
well,
but I get it.
the 90 days isn't up yet, Sam. I'm still putting you through the ringer with this test, okay? I
I know.
mean,
I know. I can't wait till you get to your 90th day, which actually I'm confident that you'll keep getting better,
yeah,
because we know, this is the cool thing about this, is that there happens to be heavy peer-reviewed research on it, and it proves that actually up to the 120th day, that oxidative stress is still declining, all the way to up to
yeah,
70% reduction. So I can't wait to see what
can't.
happens on your
Yeah, can't
90th and
even.
120th day.
Yep. I can't even
But
imagine
anyway,
that.
well, Sarah, I think that your story gives a lot of hope to a lot of people. A lot of people also who have committed, like you, to doing all the right things and still are struggling in their health. I think it helps to give them some hope that there's actual real science, real natural compounds that can do something significant inside of their body to give them maybe a brighter future. I know there's no way we can predict what what's going to happen with your diagnosis in the future. But I'm so hopeful for you, and I'm so just blessed and honored that we got to somehow divinely we were brought together, because we didn't know each other before just a couple months ago.
Right.
And I don't believe in any accidents. I think there
Mm-mm.
was a reason why this information came to you, why we became friends, and I'm learning so much from you too. So it's really just an amazing gift.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And you said, people pray for a cure or a solution to their struggle. And I have to say that I was at that point because I found that my husband was leaving for a long time and I'm homeschooling and I was not getting any better. And I just thought, I can't do this. And then I literally heard you talking about glutathione that day.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay,
Wow.
fine, gosh, darn it, I will just try it. Like it came to me for a reason. So I just want to say if someone's hearing this message for the first time or the 50th time, like never be afraid to say yes and just, why are you hearing this message? There's a reason that you're hearing this message.
Absolutely, 100%. And on that note, if anybody would like to reach out to Sarah, she's amazing. I know she would love to share more with you about her story, her tricks, her amazing wisdom that she has. She's got so much to offer to people, and I know she would love to connect. You can send her a private message. Definitely check out her Crunchy Supermom page, which is just so awesome. You see her little logo in the back there with the Supermom. Yeah, just reach out, guys. Sarah's amazing, and I know that she would love to connect with you all. So
Yeah.
thank you, Sarah, so much for taking your time.
Oh
And
yeah. Thanks for
thank you,
having
everybody.
me.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and God bless you all. Take care.